You're listening to the Balanced Educator Podcast, episode number 18. Welcome to the Balanced Educator. We're your hosts, Kaylee
and Josiane from EduCalm. Our intention is to equip and empower you to feel more calm, balanced, and joyful in all aspects of your life.
Hello there, friends. In this episode, we are going to be chatting all about perspective and just how important it is to get out of our regular routines and try something new so that we can see our life in a new way. At the end of the episode, we are going to be going into detail about some upcoming projects that we are incredibly excited to share with you. So make sure you stick around to the end. This episode's a little bit longer, but so worth it. Enjoy. So, Joe, what have we been up to this week?
This week was a short one, or only 4 days, because we had May long. And so we had Monday at the cabins, at each of our cabins.
Yep.
Enjoying nature. It was super, super nice out last weekend. So we were really able from each of our ends to enjoy being outside in the sun. And we normally have like really bad weather on May long for some reason. So it was extra, extra nice.
Yeah. Everyone appreciated it so much. So everyone was in such a good mood.
Yeah, it was so fun. I enjoyed myself so much. And we have been working quite hard. So we decided to take an extra day off. And Kaylee and I went to the spa. Actually, we had some gift certificates that were given to us by clients.
Yeah.
And we used them up and really enjoyed ourselves. It was so good.
So grateful. It was such a nice recharge. It was a good practice what you preach kind of moment. We had kind of gotten to that point where we were feeling a little bit overwhelmed and we were like, okay, this isn't how we want to feel. Let's take care of ourselves first. Let's fill our cup and get back to calm, get back to feeling good so that we can get back to doing our best work. And we did just that.
Yeah. And it was so funny because we put our phones away at the beginning of the day and at first we were just chatting about life, not work related things. And then as the day went on, we cannot help ourselves but to start talking about work and ideas started flowing. And
the creative juices always start flowing when you're in a feel-good place, right? So as soon as we got into that calm, feel-good place, we couldn't help ourselves.
Yeah, it was so nice. And so now we have all these new ideas. And actually, we had been talking for a while. One of the ideas that we have had was to start producing a bit of video content.
Mm-hmm.
So this week we also explored that a little bit. So we did some video and now I'm going to learn to edit a little bit. We'll see how that goes.
This year has been the best practice in growth mindset because neither of us have a business background. We are both educators and we've had to learn so much in starting a business. And every time we learn something new, it feels like this giant mountain we have to climb. But since we've done so many new things throughout the year, now our mindset is always like, well, there's nothing I can't learn. Like we can do anything.
I actually always thought I was terrible with technology. And I realized this year that it's not the technology, it was me,
It was your mindset about it, right? Well, when you go into something thinking, oh, I'm bad at this, well, that's what you create, right?
Yeah. And now I'm just amazed at all the things that we learned technology wise, especially over the last year, right? Like even putting on the podcast, creating the website. And these are things that, the podcast we kind of thought was going to be this simple thing. And it turns out that there's quite a few steps to
it's a lot of moving parts.
Podcast. to putting a podcast together. So it was just all an amazing learning curve. And now we're here exploring video, and who knows what's next. But the goal is to start adding video content to our online subscriptions. So we're working on it very slowly.
Yes. Well, slowly and deliberately. Slowly in the sense that we don't want to rush it. We want to make sure that it's quality. So we are, it's going to be awesome when it does make it to the stage.
Yeah. And also this week, speaking of practicing what you preach, we also took a step back, I guess, to look at the big picture of our business. We actually did what is long-term planning?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to say it in French. I forgot what it was in English. And we were going to do it on our computers. But then we realized that it was just visually too overwhelming. So we actually literally printed out 12 months of worth of paper calendars, and we took a look at the next year.
And of course, we wanted to we both love planning and visually seeing things on paper and feeling organized. So of course we had, multiple different colored sticky notes, Post-its, pen and marker colors, and had a whole color coordinated coding system going on.
Super, super teacher-esque. Is that a word? It's a word now.
It is now. Yeah. We stopped so many times to be like, we are such teachers right now, because not only were we doing this long-term planning and really marking down on our calendar all the big goals and then all the steps required to get up to those goals, and blocking everything out and planning our modules for Educom Classroom and planning our podcast episodes. We were enjoying ourselves so much. Like, this is so fun.
Also, I think because we had a really full few months, like April and May was just, they were busy in a really great way, but we just had a lot to do. And so I think we were both kind of starting to feel overwhelmed, right? And we needed to sit down and just look at the big picture.
Yeah, exactly. Both of us are developing this muscle where we recognize, thankfully, because of our mindfulness practice, we recognize when we're getting overwhelmed before we've gotten to burnout, right? We're we check in with ourselves so much that we're like, okay, I'm feeling overwhelmed. What do we need to do now? How do we get out of this overwhelm? And this week that meant first starting off the week with a spa day to relax, and then, sitting down and going over the plan and getting our calendars out and marking it down. And because when you're in the thick of it, when you're in the moment, in the day, you are stuck in that and you kind of forget that there's a bigger picture sometimes. And some of the tasks that you do feel like they're so important in the moment. But when you step back, you have to wonder, is that really as important? Is that where I should really be spending my time? Because if it's not contributing to my goal, then maybe that's not how I should be spending my time, right? So it was really nice to take that step back and just really zoom the lens out, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And now that we've done this kind of 12-month planning, I think now we're going to kind of look maybe at month to month and look at our tasks that we need to get done. And so just so that we know that we're on track.
Yeah, exactly. And
towards the big picture.
Exactly.
Towards the goal, right?
Yeah, exactly. So as we were doing that, it got us really thinking about perspective. And, we were very visually looking at our life from a different perspective. You can look at those 12 calendars we had laid out on the table, and that is a whole year of our life. And, then you can zoom in and look at what you're going to be doing each month and then what you're going to be doing each day. And so it really got a good conversation going about perspective and different things we've done in our lives that have helped us to just see our life differently. So you told me a story about this weekend. Do you want to share that?
So it's not that exciting. But no, I was just talking about how when you do something different, it really changes you. And those can be big and small things. And like last weekend, I went kayaking for the first time in probably a year. And just the simple perspective of being low on the water like that, or that view, I guess, really shifted my perspective for that moment, and it just brought so much calm and good energy into my life.
Yeah.
And it's just this very simple thing that I don't normally do. And we just decided to do this, to go on a kayak, to go kayaking. Sorry, I'm struggling with my words.
Wixing your words today.
Yeah. And just doing something different that I wouldn't normally do just makes me feel different.
Yeah. Energetically, there's a shift, right? You get into a different state physically. And because you're physically in a different state, you're literally seeing the world from a different vantage point. So it's going to create a shift. And it's times like that you kind of recognize that whatever I was stuck in, whatever I was, stressing about or worrying about, from this, there's a different way of looking at this, right? There's a different perspective for everything.
Yeah. And I think through my mindfulness practice, really, it helps me to, in a moment like going for a simple paddle, to stop and just notice what's going on and really feel the shifts that are happening within myself.
Yeah. And just recognize that, there's a physical and emotional and kind of like an energetic, just sort of, you just feel different. You feel kind of different. Yeah.
And I think that happens to us all, but so rarely do we actually take the time to like notice it, because we just like move on with our life.
Yeah. And it's so easy for us to get stuck into our routines. And there's so much that I love about routine, because, we talked in a past episode about how our mind has a hard time making a lot of decisions in a day. So if we can cut out a lot of decisions that we have to make, it helps things run smoother. It helps our brain to avoid overwhelm. But sometimes we get so stuck into routines that aren't necessarily serving us, or they were serving us at one time, and now they're not really serving us anymore in the way that they used to. And it's kind of time to try something different, to get out of the regular, to lock our phone in a locker for a day and not look at it, and just see what changes. Just experiment with trying something different, going kayaking, just trying something different and just seeing what that inspires in you, how that shifts the way that you're looking at your life right now.
And these can be bigger things too, right? Like a weekend at like camping or going on a trip. Yeah.
Yeah. Trying something totally new. Or even just spending time with different people. Like the other day I had dinner with one of my amazing, wonderful friends. She's such a sweetheart. And we were chatting and catching up on our lives. And there was something that I was complaining about, that, I had created a story in my head that this was like an annoying thing in my life currently. And, and I talked about it for a while, and then I was like tired of hearing myself whine. So I'm like, so anyway, let's stop talking about this. I'm over it. What are you up to? And, just hearing what's going on in her life, and it gives you perspective. And she's not in my circle of friends and people that I interact with super often. Like, we probably only get together every couple of months. So it was just something as simple as getting out of my regular routine of things that I talk about and talking about new things just helped me to shift my perspective around a couple of the things that, you know, was on my mind, or those recurring thoughts, or those things that you just keep thinking about. It kind of gave me that moment of like, okay, get over this already. Or, you know, look at this from a new vantage point, or be grateful, or just seeing what seemed like a problem as not a problem, that it's just get over it, right? But when you're in life, things often seem big, right? When you're in overwhelm, when you're in stress, when you're in, your body is stuck in the thought emotion cycle. So if you can do something to shift that thought emotion cycle, so that can be being in a new environment, being around new people, trying new food, trying anything new that switches up your regular routine, is going to help shift you out of that same way of thinking and give you a new way of looking at it.
Yeah. And what better way to do that than, well, in my experience, traveling?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So you've done a good amount of travel in your life, and what was that experience like for you?
I always find it so interesting because every time I've gone on a trip, you know, people always tell you there's going to be a culture shock. And what has been my experience, which I find so interesting, is that when I get there, I'm not culture shocked. I get it. I'm like, it's going to be different. Obviously, I'm choosing to go into a different culture, a different, you know, world.
Yeah.
So I expect things to be different. But what always shocks me is when I come home, that's when the culture shock hits. Because it's like and some of my trips were like 4 to 6 months long, right? And so it's like a good while to really settle into like a different world. And then I come home with all these new ideas, these new stories, these new perspectives. And I'm just shocked by the life I was living before I went on the trip. It's like removing myself from it and seeing all of these other things,
other possibilities, other ways of looking at life, other ways of perceiving things. Yeah. Then you come back to your old life and you're like, oh, like I can live this life in a different way. I can look at this situation in a different way, in a way that is better for me, that serves me, that feels good for me.
Exactly. Yeah, it's I can't even really describe it.
I know I had the same thing happen to me every time I travel too. You get back and it's interesting because it's like your life is, nothing has changed, but you've changed. And so now you have this whole new way of interacting with your family and your friends and your environment and your job and whatever it is. But you're a new person now. You're different. And it's neat because you can you get this opportunity to like rewrite your story, to question, you know, these clothes that I used to wear. As simple as that. I remember coming home from traveling and like my style changed. The clothes that I used to wear weren't
you're like, I have so much clothes.
Yeah.
Like how? I've been wearing the same 3 tank tops for 5 months. How am I coming home to this many?
Yeah.
Too many. Overwhelmed.
Yeah, exactly. So it's so interesting how experiencing new cultures, it changes you, because the way that we've been trained in our life to look at the world is just one version of the world. And we talked a lot about this in our Reality Isn't Real episode, which is episode 11. So the way you're looking at the world right now is only one way to look at it. there are billions of different ways to look at anything, even the color of something. We're not all seeing the exact same color. You know, a situation, a person, a personality, anything is different for everyone. And we forget that we have the option to look at life differently if we choose to, if that's going to serve us better. And so the cool thing with travel is that you almost don't realize that you start looking at the world differently until you come home, right? You don't recognize the changes in yourself until you can compare it to something that hasn't changed about yourself.
Yeah. So true.
Yeah. So I would love to know, you went to Bali to do your yoga teacher training this year. And can you tell me a little bit about that experience and kind of what it was like to remove yourself from your regular life and immerse yourself into learning something new in a new place?
So that was like traveling, but like times 30, right? Because not only was I in a new culture, but I spent a whole month with like, I think we were 16 amazing people from all over the world who all brought their own perspectives of the world. And then through the yoga and the meditation and those very intense long days, I changed so much so fast. It felt like, and on so many levels, like physically, mentally, spiritually, in every way. It was, I don't know. It was just, and also like Bali, like they really embody the like yogic culture, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that for a month, I just opened up my mind to so many possibilities. And I feel like I came out of it like such a more positive person, and I had such a fresh outlook on life.
Yeah.
And it was so cool because I had the chance then to go traveling with my cousin for 3 weeks after, and relearning this culture, but in a new way. Mm-hmm. Just going from place to place. And also, my cousin is like super into all this stuff too. She's amazing. Just through our conversations that we had through all of this, I came home with, I felt completely different. I still can't explain it. I still feel like and it's been how many months now since I've been back? Like 6 months? Over 6 months, I think now.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's still parts of my trip, the teacher training itself, but also just the being immersed in that culture, that I'm still digesting right now.
Yeah.
How did you...
Yeah.
What was your experience like? Can you explain it in words that I feel like I can't just, it's like I can't get it out the way that I felt.
I totally get exactly the difficulty in truly explaining what your experience was like, because it's, how do you explain to someone that things happened and you had conversations and you met people and you did practices that make you feel like a new person now? It's so hard to explain that. And I had such a transformative experience at my yoga teacher training because you're out of your regular life, right? I was away from friends and family. I went there alone. Yeah. I was completely out of my life. And when I went on the trip, I told I'm kind of weird in the way that I travel. When I do travel, I like to completely detach myself from my regular life. So I tell all those that I love you, and I'm not going to be in contact with you very often while I'm on my trip, because I need to have this experience myself and really digest it while I'm there. And it's difficult to text back and say, oh, I'm doing this, and trying to keep people updated just felt really stressful for me. So yeah, I was completely immersed and didn't really have much contact with home while I was there. And one of the big things. A was so many big things. Okay, this is going to be a list now. I was going to say one thing, but it's probably going to be like 5. So, I mean, the first thing was that before my yoga teacher training, I had never really had a true meditation practice. I would do a guided, body scan or something like that here and there, but I didn't have a true meditation practice. And I didn't understand the importance of a daily meditation practice because I had never really tried it. And before my trip, it always felt like something on a to-do list that I'm like, yeah, I should do that. Like when people are like, oh, I really should get to the gym. I really should meditate. I didn't have enough experience yet to understand how transformative it was and how nourishing it was. So when I was at my yoga teacher training and we meditated every day, it was night and day for me. From then on, I was like, well, I'm going to do this forever now. I'm never going to not meditate because it was so transformative for me to learn the meditation techniques and to learn how to create my own personal practice in a way that served me and my lifestyle. And really gave me the tools to be able to guide myself afterwards. That, and then of course, practicing yoga, deepening my practice. I mean, there's so much that you learn from a yoga practice, and anyone that isn't really into yoga, often thinks yoga is about doing the poses. So we hear a lot of people say, oh, I can't do yoga because I'm not flexible, or I'm not good at yoga, or things like that. And you're like, no, that's not how it works. Like if you have a body, you're good at yoga, because yoga is, we put our bodies into these different positions, but it's the journey of getting to those poses and being in those poses and recognizing the emotions you're feeling and the triggers, the things that are triggering you during a practice. That's the real practice. It's doing the movements, but observing your experience in them. And I really learned that at a deeper level than I had ever experienced it before during my practice. So it was very big shifts in that way. And just like you said, it was meeting people from all over the world and seeing their perspectives. And it really shifted a lot of things for me. A lot of things that I just took to be true. Like, this is just a fact. This is how life is. There's no different way of looking at this. It's just one way. Yeah. I can be pretty like hard-headed sometimes. And when I believe in something, it's like, you have to prove, if you're going to try to change my mind, you kind of have to prove it to me. So I just took a lot of my perceptions for granted, that was the only way of looking at the world. And then meeting all these amazing people, and they just naturally had different perceptions because they came from different cultures, or, just at a different stage in their life, or whatever it was. It really opened my eyes to, there's so much more possible for me in this world than than the box that I had put myself in.
Yeah. And just, I think for me too, just the reflection of my regular life, like all of these other people's perspectives made me reflect on my day-to-day at home in Manitoba, and also made me appreciate my life so much. When I came home, I was like, oh, I'm so lucky to have this life.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful.
There's something fun about when you go on a trip and you have so much fun there and it's so amazing, and you get home and it somehow still makes you more grateful for what you already have. I don't know. That's always my experience. I come home and I go, yeah, Manitoba's pretty awesome too. I love exploring. I love traveling. And I also truly appreciate where I live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's been a dream of ours since the beginning to do more trips like this. Yeah. Like ever since we started talking about EduCalm, we have been saying that like traveling fits somewhere in there, and we weren't sure how. And how amazing is it that Rachel from Solstice Travel approached us to partner with her.
Yeah, she's amazing and so just great energy, clearly loves what she does. She is, runs her own business. So, we're girl bossing it up as we're collaborating on this project. And it's so great to partner with her. And yeah, we knew travel would be somehow a part of this journey. And now it has come to be in the most amazing way, which is going to be offering these transformative travel experiences that are going to include mindfulness, yoga, meditation, adventure. Both of us love hiking and swimming and trying new things. And we are so excited to be able to share this with our community and bring together amazing people to experience these life-changing times together. It's going to be so good.
So excited.
Yeah. So as we were doing our planning, our year-long planning, those were the main exciting, colorful Post-it notes on our calendars. Super exciting. So yeah, let's tell everyone a little bit more about these 3 trips that we have going on this year.
So the first one will be from November 30th to December 9th. Iconic Costa Rica yoga and adventure. Super fun. I think it's going to be quite the journey.
It's going to be so fun. I'm really, really excited. So these trips are going to include yoga, mindfulness, meditation led by us. For the Costa Rica trip, the plan is that I'm going to be leading that one. So Joe and I aren't going to be together for all of them, but we are planning on being together for one of them. So I will be leading the Costa Rica adventure. And the trips will also include some excursions and some optional things that you can do during free time. And Rasha did an amazing job at choosing just beautiful, wonderful, well thought out locations. Yeah. Like the details that she pays attention to. Like she was saying, I decided that I really liked this place, but I chose this one instead because at that one place you get a lot of sand flies and at this other place you don't. And I was like, how did you A, know that? And B, how did you think of that? That's amazing. So organized.
Yeah, she's really thought of every detail.
She totally did. So
yeah.
In the Costa Rica adventure, we're going to be doing a daily yoga and meditation practice. And the goal is going to be to deepen your mind-body connection and encourage you to experience each day more fully as you learn to embody presence and awareness. So you'll also deepen your practice with an adventurous yoga workshop that'll allow you to explore your limits and get you to experiment with new postures and kind of just get out of your comfort zone a little bit. All the yoga is going to be tailored to all levels. So even if you've never done yoga in your life, you can come. If you are an avid yoga practitioner, you will be awesome in the group as well. So no worries about yoga experience. It will be good for anyone at no matter level. So also you're going to learn how to take the essence of this transformative trip home with you. So we're going to do a workshop on how to bring this mindfulness practice, this daily self-care practice to continue fostering growth and expansion even once you're home. So excited about that one. Again, that's November 30th to December 9th. Now, the next one, what? Go ahead.
Or even possibly more excited for this one, just because we're going to be offering something specific for educators.
Yes. So March 23rd to 30th, that's spring break, guys. This one in Mexico at the Riviera Maya is called Spring Break Teachers Unplug, Unwind, and Recharge. So for the Spring Break Teachers, Joe and I both plan on being there, which is going to be so fun for us to be able to collaborate and bring the community together. So you guys, if you're a teacher, if you work in the school system, you know that, and I mean, parents know this too, but we're gearing this towards teachers. We really tend to give our everything to our families and to our students. And so many teachers are really kind of teetering on the verge of burnout. And what we really believe at EduCom is that in order to serve others and be the best teacher, the best parent, the best friend, we really have to take care of ourselves first. So this trip is going to be all about prioritizing your needs and then learning how to continue your self-care practice during the school year. So really giving tools to be able to bring what you learn at this retreat or this travel experience into your real life. So you're going to get to enjoy daily yoga and meditation. You are going to learn to be more aware and present. You're going to learn how to take this transformative trip home with you. So we're going to do a workshop on mindfulness and developing your own personal daily practice that really works for your life. And we're going to figure out what's that going to look like? What is going to fill you up? Not what everyone else is doing and you think you should do, but what's actually going to nourish you. So this will foster continued growth and expansion and fuel you so that you can be your best self for yourself and, of course, for others, right? As teachers, we always want to be so much for our students, and sometimes we just really struggle with making the time for ourselves. So we're going to work on that. So you'll also get to learn how to bring mindfulness into your classroom and your daily interactions with your students. We're going to do a Kickstarting Mindfulness in the Classroom workshop so that when you go back to work, you and your kiddos will have concrete tools and strategies to mindfully cope with stress and overwhelm as it will inevitably arise. But we're going to give you the tools to deal with it. This spring break, unplug, unwind, and recharge with like-minded educators. It's going to be such an amazing group. So set yourself up for a calm and successful end to the school year. We all know by spring break, we're like, okay, we're feeling pretty burnt out. It's time to recharge. So this is going to be such an amazing way to do that. Now, our next trip, Joe, do you want to explain this one? Because you're going to be leading this one.
From April 17th to 24th, we will be going to Belize for Women and the Sea, and that'll be in Placencia, and which is apparently got beautiful beaches, and it's going to be really an introspective trip where we're going to do lots of yin yoga, meditation, some journaling. We're going to self-reflect. And also, again, we're going to talk about how we can bring this home after and continue this habit. But I think this is just going to be very relaxing, other than potential scuba diving with and snorkeling, potentially see some sharks.
Yeah.
So we might need some calming yoga after that. There's going to be some excursions as well, but I think for the most part, it's going to be very just relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love how it worked out that just we happened to, for our personal schedules, choose that I would do Costa Rica and you would do Women in the Sea. But I think they just happened to fit our personalities really well too.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
I'm more of like a vinyasa yoga, like kind of energy intensity kind of person. And you are so good at like leading meditations and you have a just calmer energy in general. So I think this really fell perfectly for who's going to be leading which one. And then
I'm so excited for this.
Yeah. And then of course, spring break teachers together is going to be so fun.
Yeah. So exciting.
So we have an information session coming up in Winnipeg on June 4th at CEDEM, which is, do you remember
in St. Boniface? We'll put the address in the show notes.
Yes, perfect. We'll put the address in the show notes. So we are going to be having an event where you can come and do some meditation with us, some mindfulness practice, some visualizations. We'll chat, we'll meet, and we'll talk about these trips a little bit further. So if you have any questions, if it interests you, then come on by. And even if you're not sure, if you're on the fence and you just want to come enjoy a meditation practice with us, it's free. So you get a free session with us, which would be so fun. So
yeah, we want to meet you.
Yeah, we really, truly do. So come on down June 4th at CEDEM in St. Boniface. We will link the show notes at podcast.educalm.com/TBE018 because this is episode 18.
And also, if you can't make it, you can be from anywhere in the world and join us on this trip. So just send us a message. And how can they do that, Kaylee? 2 ways.
Number 1, if you are on Instagram, you can just direct message us, and you can just send us your email address. We'll add you to our mailing list so that when we send out more information, you'll get that information. So you can find us on Instagram at educalm. That's EDUCALME. If you prefer to communicate by email, just email us at bonjour@educalm.com. That's BONJOUR at EDUCALME.com. Thank you guys.
You'll be added. Sorry.
Go ahead.
You'll be added to our email list so that you can get all of the information as it all comes together.
Yes. So excited. So hopefully you guys are interested in joining us and, finding a shift in your perspective, trying something new, trying on new experiences. And even if travel isn't your thing, hopefully this episode helped you to just brainstorm some ideas, get inspiration of how you can switch up your regular routine and try new things so that you can start seeing your life in a way that maybe serves you better, just experimenting with it.
Can't wait to chat with you all next week.